Oh, I'm glad you asked that because it actually was very challenging. I mean, firstly, I wanted it to be very real, and I think it is very real. And in fact, we
Thank you so much for your time.
it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I watched the movie and oh my God, a mistake. And I love Elizabeth Banks. So, and I think everything that she's been doing lately, it's so impressed. Like she did the other one a couple of uh, premiere a couple of I think was last month about the spa. I forgot the name of that movie,
Oh,
but
was it skincare?
skincare, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, skincare, and I think she's amazing. So,
she
well,
is.
let's start from the beginning. What attracted you to the novel? Because you also wrote the script, but what was about the novel that made you write the script?
Oh, that's a great question. Thank you. I think it takes such an effort to make a movie, and so the choice of subject is so important. And I read Carl Shuker's novel, A Mistake, and it resonated with me because it was such a complex, nuanced character study, and such a very real world, the world of medical misadventure. But personally, because I think you have to have a personal reason to want to invest so much time and energy, was I felt that I could bring sort of some insights and feelings about, being an advocate for a loved one who had gone through medical misadventure and actually positively came out the other side, but it could have gone either way. And I think I was able to kind of really sit in that space and go, okay, this is what I want to. She makes a mistake, in fact, many mistakes, because it's not just a surgical error, but for human error. We how we are with each other, how we talk about things when things go wrong. Not brushing things under the carpet. So it's got wonderful themes about human fallibility, and I just felt they were very exciting. It was fantastic character to cast, and the supporting characters are amazing as well. So I was very excited about the potential in the novel to bring to the screen, and I felt personally what I wanted to bring to it was sort of to open up some of the relationships and the storylines around sort of culpability, blame, and restoration. I think probably most importantly, yeah, like
Yes. Yeah, and to find in Elizabeth Banks, she's amazing, as we already mentioned to you. I think she's one of the biggest ones here in Hollywood, one of the biggest actors in Hollywood. What was about her and her previous work that made you cast her to play Liz Taylor, Elizabeth Taylor?
Yeah, I just think she can play both ways. She can be a cool customer. She can be very tough, so she can kind of wear that mask required by the character. But then I really wanted to explore her vulnerability. And when I spoke with her, she's so connected to the character in the screenplay, because it's so exciting, I think, and rare to find a character that where we see them come up against so many internal and external conflicts, and to sort of put the character under so much pressure. So I just felt like it would be really nice to explore that, like what happens when someone really strong and very professional is confronted with their own fallibility. And I just felt that Elizabeth would be perfect for that, and she was. Yeah, she just plays it beautifully.
Yeah, she was. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Also, like I thought that the cinematography was really beautiful. We have that when they're like sad, there's a little pool, and depends when where her character and the feelings of the other characters are at is more warm, but it's so beautiful. And what was like the approach when you talk to John too? I think I hope I'm saying his name correctly, the
You
last
are.
name.
John Toon,
John
yes.
too.
John
Oh,
Toon
yeah.
is my partner, and we have shot 4 movies together. And he has a documentary background, so and he's very he's very amazing with his lighting, but also just he's a listener, so he's able to sort of just rather than it being so technical necessarily, he's able to sort of really be inside the story and allow the camera to observe and so on. So I felt that was really important. And he's just like a filmmaker. It's good to have a team of filmmakers around you. I mean, a lot of the palette is, these places are, because it's set in a hospital as well. It's there's sort of an impersonality to it. Generic kind of walls and so on and so forth, and a sense of the bubble and the fairy, like a time capsule of going from home to the city for the character to work. I really liked that space with the movement inside the fairy, and then the sea with its ever-changing moods, which is near where she lives. So I think John captured all of that beautifully.
Yeah, he did. I think it's really, really cool. Even like all the scenes, like even inside the operation room, they're really, I don't know if it was a challenge. How was like to play that, like especially the beginning when she's doing the surgery, like taking the surgery. How was that the challenge for you?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that, because it actually was very challenging. I mean, firstly, I wanted it to be very real, and I think it is very real. And in fact, we screened it at a film festival here in New Zealand, and there were 2 medical incidents directly following the scene, because it was quite upsetting, I think, and triggering. So we had to stop the film and see if the people were okay. And yes, so in terms of filming it, we had amazing surgical help. Elizabeth trained before she came over. She trained at home in LA with Dr. Michael Metzner, learning the surgical procedures. And then on set, we had Avanish Sharma, Dr. Avanish Sharma, a surgeon here in New Zealand, to make sure that everything was as realistic as possible. And then we had the most amazing prosthetics. So we had layers to the body. So some of them had, internal organs, and then others were a skin that we could cut through. And Elizabeth could basically do the technicalities of the surgery. And everyone, I had to choreograph it and work out how to break it down, obviously, into the shots and so on, and just make sure we could get through the day, because it's a very long sequence. I think it was like 10 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And so it was very complicated, because we had to keep sort of, changing out the prosthetics, and how it is when you've got blood bags and things like that. It can be a bit messy. So yeah, it was complicated, and I'm really, really happy with how realistic it feels. And Elizabeth was very competent at doing the surgical procedures, and it comes across. You see her, the camera stays with her face and then shows what she's doing, and she was able to do all that. So it was, really cool.
Yeah,
And we had
really
great,
cool.
I mean, like I say, we had great surgical support and help, and also nurse support and help. So, how do you hand over a tool? How do you hand over the instruments? Like, what are the protocols within that space? And so we had a lot of help with that.
Yeah, no, that's why it was like very realistic. And then I was like really impressed. I was like, oh my God, I'm not a doctor, but I was like, you can see that it was like you guys treated very carefully, like well, have like patient to create that environment, so really, really, really cool.
And
And
I
I've
had to, yes, and the surgical room was, set up very, very realistically, the equipment and the actual, the actual set that was beautifully done by Gary. And yeah, it was very good.
Yes, it was. Also, aside from this, the scene is a particular scene that is a challenge. There is any other challenge that you have through to bring this movie to us right now?
Oh,
Like,
so many, so many. You know, I mean, for a start, we were filming during COVID, so just at the end. The dog, obviously. Getting the dog, working with the dog, and then just a schedule on an independent movie. You're just always chasing your tail.
exactly.
So I think that it's just a challenge making a movie overall. It's such a big team of people that gather around to do it, and Elizabeth and Mickey Sumner and Simon McBurney were all away from home here, and they were, such troopers. They worked so hard, and our New Zealand actors as well. It was just, I mean, I think we had technical rehearsal time just to work on the surgical aspects, but in terms of people arriving in the country at different times, we didn't really even get to do a proper, performance rehearsal or anything like that. So that was, from my point of view, that's always the thing. You want to have more time. You just want more time, basically, generally, on a movie.
Yeah, exactly. And I was curious to know, why did it take you so long to direct a movie? Because you directed was 2008.
I know, that's what the gorgeous programmer at Tribeca also asked. Don't leave it too long until your next one.
Exactly.
It was very sweet.
But sometimes life happens, and
well, because actually I had a few, I was a loved one was involved in medical misadventure, and I became an advocate. So I spent a lot of time in hospitals, and I wrote, you write things that don't necessarily always happen at the time with the timing that you want them to, and so on and so forth. And I also did a master's degree did study, and I'm really interested in the camera. I did, fine arts and photography. And so, I mean, there's so many layers to life. But yes, it was far too long.
Yeah, it was. But what like, and it's a long time, but what did you miss the most about directing? When you come back directing again, what did you miss the most?
Engagement, like on a engagement and risk. It's very easy to go in a little world and do your little creative things and sort of write in a room and so on, or whatever else it is. But I think cinema is such a big platform for reaching out and starting conversations, and I think that that's the most exciting thing about this for me. Is and especially to come to the end of the process and the generosity of the audience, to see their response alive in person and share that. For me, that is the most exciting thing, to get to the end of the process and start to actually talk about it, to and see the audience engagement and to feel it. For me, that's very special.
It is. And see how the movie can touch people, the way that people react to it. And I think that part is amazing. Like,
totally. Yeah, it's very real.
And Christine, how do you see like the woman in this industry, in the
film industry?
In the film industry.
Well, there's not, I mean, I think it's pretty tough, right? What stories are you going to tell first? Are they something that feel as a woman that you want to, do what? Are they having complex female characters in them? That's really, how do you get to tell a story that's meaningful for you and reflects your experience in the world? So that's one of the things that, as a woman filmmaker, I'm confronted with a lot. Is like, oh, okay, I don't find this story so interesting to me, or, is it interesting to me? That kind of question. And I mean, hopefully things are changing, but, there's not a lot of women directors out there. So it's like, perhaps there's more and more. And of course, some have incredible, more recent success and so on. But I'm always excited myself to see films by women filmmakers, to see what stories they're telling and what kind of movies they're making and so on and so forth. Not exclusively, but yeah. I think it's probably it. I mean, I kind of just dive in when I want to, passionately when I feel something I want to do. But yeah.
There's a lot of like good movies. Like this year, we have a lot of like women directing. Last year too, but it's kind of we see like waves. Sometimes it's like a lot of men directing, and then just a few of us doing it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my God, no, we need more of us telling the stories, our stories, because I think we kind of have a different eye when I tell.
I so agree. I so agree. And the thing is also, I think the question comes up is like, I get asked, well, is this character likable? And from whose eyes is it likable? How are we meant to be, as how a woman character is meant to get portrayed? They're complex and nuanced. And so I think that's really important, is having an eye on that and driving stories with these complex, I mean, all of them, not to be cliched and so on, but and also to take on for there to be meaty roles for women. Yeah,
exactly. Another thing that I like the movie, especially Elizabeth Taylor, the character, she's very real and she's very true to her. You know what I mean? She doesn't wanna I don't want to spoil because people need to watch it, but she doesn't want to lie. She was like, this is what happened and this is what's going on, and I don't want to cover anything out of that, like, and that's something that I relate to. That even can be the worst of the worst, but you need to tell the truth.
Absolutely. Yeah, she's in a tough situation.
Exactly. And aside from this project, Christine, are you already writing your next script? Are you working anything new that you can talk about?
There's nothing yet. Of course, I'm very keen to dive into writing something new, but I have to feel the passion and inspiration. So I'm sure that will come soon, but no pressure.
Don't take too long. Too long.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Well, Christine, this is a pleasure to meet you, and I hope one day we can meet in person. I know you're in New Zealand, I'm here in LA, but I hope one day we meet in person. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If you like to support or continue to support Jana on Camera, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share the videos.